Definitely one of the best rivalries in the city when it comes to the football field. Great cut up the middle. He's got some space. Slips a couple tackles. Rodriguez to the pylon for the touchdown.
Excellent pass, but just as good a catch.
Joel Pastrana will not be caught.
Stopped at the 3, kept on churning, and finally get into the end zone.
Lambert breaks free. Jonathan Lambert up the middle. He's going to win the game. Throwing it up to Exelholm. What a catch.
We've seen some amazing games, but that was
one of the best we've seen in a long time. Hello, everybody. Welcome to White Stadium in Jamaica Plain on a rainy, windy, and nasty evening here at Game of the Week. Tonight we have two members of the Boston South, the English Blue Eagles, taking on the Burke Bulldogs. Both teams looking for their first win of the season. Hello, everybody. I'm Pat Flaherty, joined by my partner, as always, Alan Platt. And Alan, not the funnest night here at White Stadium because of the weather, but certainly these two teams.
It's Friday. What are you going to do?
It's Friday. It's high school football season. These two teams looking for their first win of the season. These two teams know that this is a big game for both of them.
Not only that, English side looking for their first score of the season. They've been shut out twice in their 2 losses. So both teams obviously struggling, 0-3 between them, and that's the challenge for the coaches and the players. They want to be under control, try to get their systems in place. A lot of reasons why the teams are struggling. Looking out at the field, the fact of the matter is, large rosters that we're used to seeing.
That's
I mean,
right.
both teams struggle getting players in. I know in the English's case, they literally brought some kids in right the week before their first game.
That's
right. And Burke's actually done much better. That they have more players tonight. But you're right, Pat. It's teams struggling, trying to figure some way to get their first win of the season.
Without question, English 0-2, Burke 0-1. Let's talk about English first. And Ryan Conway in his second season here at Boston English last year had 4 wins on the year, so just about a decent season for them last year with a first-year head coach. But this year, he's had a lot of transfers. He's had a lot of guys graduate, so he sort of has decided to start his system now here in English in his second season.
That's not something to take lightly. Like you said, he was hit like a double whammy. You lose seniors anyway, but then he had some kids who just decided to go to other places, and a few of those were decent players,
starters.
So you're really starting over, and like you said, he's putting a new system in. It's taking him a while. I'm glad to hear that he's saying that even though everything's new to these kids, they are trying their best to learn the system and trying to implement it. So we'll see some evidence of how far they've come in this game here.
Yeah, definitely looking for growth here tonight. Meanwhile, on the other side, Burke, similar situation. They have a lot of guys that have graduated or left the school, but one player who is still with Jeremiah Burke is their quarterback, Pat Colbreth, who had 18 touchdowns last year.
Yeah, well, he's a good runner. I mean, he's that in a day like this is perfect in terms of the Burke trying to get some offense going because, like we said, rain, wet, it's not muddy yet, but a lot of winds, so they really can't expect too much through the air. So if he can duplicate what he did last year in terms of his running ability and scoring, then Burke may have a slight edge before kickoff.
He's going to be the guy that we're going to look out for here tonight. Now for more on this game, let's go to our sideline reporter, Seth Orensky. Seth, what do you have for us?
Thanks, guys. With neither team having recorded a point through their first 3 combined games, you think the pressure might be on the offenses, but Boston English head coach Ryan Conway sees it the other way. He focuses on defensive execution. They need to tackle better. They need to do a better job stopping the run. The one player to watch on Boston English, Michael Castro, is working on his mechanics. The first-year quarterback, who's a junior, is a baseball player by trade, so he's working on that. He's done a better job throughout preseason and in the past 2 weeks. Guys, take it away.
Seth, thanks very much. You can hear the wind howling here at White Stadium. It's been like this all day here in Boston. Of all the hardship that
I lost track of the hurricane names. But
I know this country's been ravaged by hurricanes. We're getting a little bit of a hurricane, I think, over the last couple of days. So we can stand this compared to what Florida and Texas have been getting, and Georgia and everybody down south. So our hearts go out to them, and we'll take a little bit of this for them up here in Boston. And we are set to go here at White Stadium. Boston English will be kicking off there in the all-white uniforms with the blue trim. Jeremiah Burke in the all-black uniforms with the white and blue trim. Similar colors for both these squads. We're just about set to go.
And coming into a game like this, the players who, like Seth said, are trying to get their first points, first win, obviously. They look at across the field and figure, okay, these guys are struggling just like we are. So if we can get maybe a good first drive, that may set the game up.
Burke tries the onside kick to start off the game. I'm not sure who fielded it. It looks like
flipped around a little bit, but
English started. Excuse me, English started with the onside kick, but Burke has recovered, and they will take over right around the 48-yard line. Number 51 for Jeremiah Burke. Cano Oliver with a recovery. He's a senior.
I think that clearly the Burke coaches had alerted the up guys that it might be a squib kick.
Let's take a look at the starters for Jeremiah Burke. That's Culbreth at the quarterback position, running backs Withers and Gante. Meanwhile, the receivers are the two Francois twins, Peter and Peterson. Now, Jeremiah Burke runs more of a triple option, wishbone type of offense. So not a lot of throwing the football. It's going to be a lot of running here this evening. That's Culbreth, the quarterback, trying to bounce it to the outside. Eludes one tackler. Culbreth still on his feet. Down the sideline goes Pat Culbreth. Yeah. He is in for a touchdown. 52-yard touchdown run for the Burke quarterback. And he starts things up. That's their first score of the season for Jeremiah Burke.
That's an amazing way to get your first score on the very first play from scrimmage. It looked like he was actually might get thrown for a loss. He gave some ground, created some space for himself, and then, like you said, in the open, excellent runner. Would say 18 touchdowns last season.
That's right.
You saw an example of the kind of strength he has to run away from a couple of arm tackles, and then the speed to get away from the defensive backs.
So Burke now will be trying for the two-point conversion after the 52-yard touchdown scamper from the quarterback, Pat Culbreth. Wouldn't be surprised if he took it on a keeper once again. This time he hands it off. They fumble the football, and Burke does recover in the end zone. We got one ref saying no. We got one ref saying yes.
They got to figure it out. You're right. The two linesmen have to come together. The ball was fumbled, so
no two-point conversion. So no two-pointer, but Burke now on top 6-0 here early in the first quarter.
It's got to be one of those situations where the coaching staff and, more importantly, the players just sort of breathing a sigh of relief from the Burke sideline. We're on the scoreboard.
Right.
Okay, we're ahead for the first time this season. Early in the season, let's see if we can get our defense going now.
I think that's probably the biggest difference between these two teams right now is the quarterback position, because you do have Culbreth, who comes in as a star player, scoring that many touchdowns last year. So everybody else on Burke kind of knows, if we don't get things going, at least we got him. Whereas English, everybody's kind of starting fresh, even though they have a young man in Michael Castro, who's their starting quarterback, who's a very good athlete.
He was a linebacker.
Teams like him a lot.
He came to play linebacker. That's what he wants to play.
Right.
Coach said, listen, we need you as quarterback. He said, well, okay, let me give it a try.
So doing the kicking duties for Burke is Ernst Clarison. And Herbie Exelholm back to receive.
I'm sure that name sounds familiar. Good reason. Yeah, it's his cousin, is it?
It's Irvin Exelholm's younger brother, who we saw last week, and Exelholm fields it inside the 20-yard line. Here comes Exelholm down the sideline, showing off some speed. Past midfield, Herbie Exelholm with an excellent return for the Boston English Blue Eagles.
Wow. Well, and sometimes a game like this where two teams are struggling to open the season, haven't had much success, you have that big 50-yard touchdown run to stop the game. English wants to get back as soon as possible.
Let's take a look at the starters for Boston English. Michael Castro, the quarterback. We got Soto, Denton, Exelholm, and Robinson at the skills positions. And Boston English, not exactly like Jeremiah Burke, but they now are going to try to pound the football.
Right.
Coach Conway wants to get more of the system that he was used to being an assistant coach at East Boston.
Yeah, he was there over 10 years.
That's
so
right.
He knows that system inside out.
Jeremiah Burke now going to call a timeout here before their first defensive possession.
That's a confusion. Yeah, they only had 10 guys out there.
You see Michael Castro with Coach Conway.
Castro, good athlete. Big, he's well over 200 pounds.
Coach Conway mentioned that the team responds to Castro, too. He's not just one of those good athletes that gets in there and
he tries
has a good command of the huddle.
I think this is the kind of game where the team can really sort of get on his back.
Sure.
Because he's able to run inside.
English also with a wishbone type of formation.
It's like a power eye. And
the handoff up the middle to the first man through, and about a 4-yard pickup, make that a 5-yard pickup on first down.
What's key is even though we're dealing with this wind and some, the rain's off and on. Luckily right now it's sort of stopped, which is good for English. The ball handling by the quarterback Castro is going to be key. And again, this is like his second or third game rather as starting quarterback. So if he can prevent or stay away from turnovers, the English has a good chance to get their running game going.
Sam Denton was the first ball carrier for Boston English. Picks up 5, so it'll be 2nd down and 5 now for the Blue Eagles. Hand off over the left side. Nice little cut here for Boston English. Bouncing it to the outside. For English was Soto Julian.
I'll tell you, there's a small contingent from English, but they're making a lot of noise.
That's right.
they're all totally in support of the Eagles, and that was a good play. I mean, again, Castro rather, was the one who made the play work he made 2 ball fakes before he finally handed it off. Big gain in the first down.
Sorry, that's Julian Soto. It's reversed on the roster, but it is Julian Soto who got that carry. Boston English now with a little bit of momentum, now with the football at the 33-yard line of Jeremiah Burke. On first down, they hand off over the right side.
Guy through, yeah.
And another good carry here for English. That time it was Herbie Exelholm picking up 6 on the play. Make that 5, excuse me.
Yeah, see, Herbie's a little smallish, but good quickness, good speed, obviously. So he can both go out as a wide receiver or go to the backfield like we just saw. He has no problem running between tackles. It's going to be a fun game. I mean, if English can score here and answer that sort of shocking play to start the game, then everyone can sort of calm down.
Yeah, coming into this game, we kind of figured it would be sort of a slugfest with the weather, the wind, and neither of these teams really, throw the football anyway. So it's going to be a ground and pound type game.
Offensive line's key.
2nd and 5 now for Burke. And it's Sam Denton trying to get to the outside, but he is shoved to the sideline.
Big hit by Burke, I tell you.
Clarison.
Yeah, Clarison, the safety, came up and didn't wrap him up at all, but didn't need to because he made that sting, and the initial hit knocked him right down. They're trying to get to the side where English actually has a 400-pound left tackle, Marcel Edmond, number 77. Be a 3rd and about 5. 4-down territory though, so they have two downs to get this 5 yards.
So now on 3rd and 5, Boston English. And the football off up the middle.
Yeah.
And another short gain on the play. Might have picked up 3 on the run by Julian Soto.
Okay, this might be the first run by Castro because it's going to be a 4th and, call it.
It's going to be about a 4th and 3.
It's less than it looked like, actually. Now, the power rise when you have a regular I formation, when you have an additional back behind the quarterback. So he has a couple of different fakes he can use before finally handing off or keeping himself.
Boston English faced with a 4th and 2 here at the Jeremiah Burke 27-yard line. The handoff up the middle, get the first down as Sam Denton explodes through the middle.
I was just going to say, the key to that play was Denton. Even though we were talking about some wet conditions, he could offer his spot as quickly as possible. He was almost off. He was almost in motion. And Castro was able to make a clean handoff.
Denton, a transfer from down North Carolina. And Coach Conway mentioned how strong he is. He's got a good speed going straight ahead, not really going to shake off anybody, but a good, strong, fast downhill runner.
And you got that clearly he's fast getting off that spot.
I'm sorry, he's from Ohio, not North Carolina. My apologies.
Right.
Which is high school football country, or at least one of those states that seems to breed high school football players. Now on first down, they pitch it over the right side, and Soto, with nowhere to go, gets wrapped up right around the line of scrimmage.
Julian on the carry. Pick up 2, 2nd and 8. Make that a pick up 1, 2nd and 9.
They've only tried to go outside once so far. A little surprised at it. And so with their formation they're using, if Castro fakes to either the first man, then pitches out, they may have some room on either one of the wings. I'm still waiting for him to get a run. I mean, they haven't called his number yet.
Second down and 9 now for Boston English. Just 2 backs in the backfield. The handoff up the middle again to Denton, and he plows forward up to the 15-yard line.
The initial hit is not bad, even though both coaches talked about some concern for the offensive lines in terms of being able to get some movement and create some space. The initial hit from the English line when they thrust out is okay. It seems like they haven't been able to sort of sustain the blocks, but the running backs are doing a decent job of taking whatever space they have. 3rd and 5 again.
9-play drive so far here for Boston English. 3 minutes left to go here in the first quarter.
Just one wide receiver out to the left.
Soto again, the deep back. He fumbles the football. Good strip there by Burke, and they recover at the 20-yard line.
That's the one thing English wants to avoid at all costs. He was actually hit before he had a chance to tuck it in.
So Julian Soto gets stripped by Jeremiah Burke. Jeffrey Osayande coming up with the recovery.
The key to the play was Osayande came across the line of scrimmage unblocked and got a hit, like I said before, the ball could be secured. Back to that, like the old-fashioned wishbone.
First down for Burke.
Oh, good job, wow.
They get wrapped up in the backfield as they try to pitch the outside to Adriel Gante.
See, Taki Hawkins, first guy over there, and some gang tackling going on. See, the English at this point, the defense wants to get the ball right back because the offense had a nice drive going. Like we say, 10 plays in the drive, and looked like they were on their way to score.
And you see Pat Culbreth, his second year as the Bulldogs starter. And as we mentioned, 18 rushing touchdowns in 2016, and we saw why in that first drive, first play of the game from scrimmage. 52-yard TD by the Burke senior quarterback. 2nd and 13 now for Jeremiah Burke. They try the handoff over the right side again, and they got a couple of yards on second down up to the 20. So back to the original line of scrimmage for Jeremiah Burke.
I'd say the front line for the English, these last 2 plays were a really good job. First time they get some penetration. This time they were able to shut down a inside run, which is what the Burke really wants to do a lot of. They want to be able to get that established so they can fake and then let Culbreth try to go outside.
Gante with a 3-yard pickup there on second down. So 3rd down and 10. Coming up on just a minute left to go here in the first quarter. And Colbreth going to try to bounce to the outside. He does. Colbreth down the sideline. Pat Colbreth going to take it again.
Yeah.
Pat Colbreth with an 80-yard touchdown run, his 2nd of the game. And Burke now on top, 12-0.
I'll tell you, Pat, his speed is really deceiving. On the play, Castro from the linebacker spot looked like he had an angle to get him on the sideline. Colbreth just sort of took an extra step and changed gear and gone. No one touched him.
So Colbreth now with 132 yards on the ground on just 2 carries. So pretty good evening so far for Pat Colbreth.
All in the first quarter. Well, again, coming into the game, Burke had a shutout. They were shut out. Was at Tech Boston, and you know, the kids are always down, especially young players. Always get down whenever you get shut out.
Sure. So
coming into the game, especially with the conditions, you didn't know what to expect. But like you said, Colbreth, probably the best skill player in the game or on the field. So he, being the quarterback, is going to touch the ball every play.
Now for the 2-point conversion, going to try again. This time, Gante does get in for the 2-pointer. So Jeremiah Burke able to get the 2-pointer that time. They're on top 14-0 here with 41 seconds left to go in the first quarter. And now Boston English. The tough part about that was English did a great job. They had a nice return. Yeah. They drove all the way down the field, but that turnover just killed them.
You're right. Now you got to keep their heads up. Coach has got to tell them, listen, it was still the first quarter. We're down 2 scores. We had a great drive going.
You see a good shot of Tom Lamb. Most high school football fans here in Massachusetts know who he is. Former head coach at both Natick High School and Norwood High School. Won several Super Bowls in his time. Also coached Doug Flutie back in the day.
Yes, they had a lot of great players, actually. Flutie probably the best overall. But yeah, for English, it's like you said. I mean, they want to try to duplicate what they had going. Again, it's tough to have a turnover like that when you have such a good drive.
You see Exelholm back to receive again. He had that nice 31-yard return last time. English could use another good return here on the kickoff to spark this offense once again. Squib kick now for Jeremiah Burke. It's fielded by Boston English right around the 23-yard line. Good return again for English. Making his way up the field past the 40, up to the 44. For Boston English was Gary Robinson.
Yeah, Gary did a good job. He looked like he was going to be forced to the sideline, but he was able to gain some yardage even though he was given ground.
So 20-yard return there for Robinson. There you see a good shot of Coach Byron Beeman in his 7th season, I believe, here at Jeremiah Burke.
Yeah, and again, what we talked about in the open, the fact that both teams lost so many players other than the regular senior graduation, give them extra work to do to get this season started.
And now we got a timeout down on the field. I didn't quite see which team called it. So Boston English calls the timeout here with 30 seconds left to go in the first quarter, and our sideline reporter Seth Orensky's got an update for us. Seth, what do you have?
Thanks, guys. Jeremiah Burke's Pat Colbreth already has 2 touchdowns, but he's dealing with a lot of pain. Both times after he scored, he's come over to the sideline during the kickoff, and he's working on a right upper leg injury that he continues to stretch. He's a player who plays both sides of the ball, so that could be interesting to see how that holds up. He's been dynamic on offense, but the team did give up a few more yards than they would have liked on that first defensive drive. Guys?
Seth, thanks very much. And Colbreth sounds like possibly a hamstring injury or something.
But there was no indication of it.
No, not on the run. Not on either run.
Both times, once he hit the sideline, he didn't get touched. So I guess it just shows you the kind of speed he has to be able to sprint like that. Yeah, you see him getting stretched out on the side. It actually looks like he's in some pain. But he's not in the defensive set right now. Being looked at, trying to get him stretched out.
We'll have to monitor that situation for Colbreth. He's also a good defensive player.
Right.
Plays safety.
Yeah. Safety, yeah. Last line of defense.
We'll see if maybe Boston English will try to go to the air at all. On first down, the handoff over the left side again. Soto getting bottled up right around the line of scrimmage. And they're going to give him forward progress, so he did get about a yard there on first down.
Yeah, the linebackers for Burke are doing a good job filling the gaps. They've got to read first because there are a lot of run fakes by quarterback Castro for English, but done a good job.
2-yard pickup there for Soto up to the 46-yard line.
It's going to end the first quarter.
And that's going to do it for the first quarter here at White Stadium as the Burke Bulldogs lead the Boston English Blue Eagles 14-0 thanks to 2 long touchdown runs by Burke quarterback Pat Colbreth. Folks, we're going to head to break. When we come back, we will have the second quarter here from White Stadium here on Game of the Week right after these words. Don't go away, folks.
Green hat. Red hat. Oops. Red shirt, blue shirt, yellow shirt. Oops. Yellow pants, red pants, green pants. Oops.
Welcome back to White Stadium in Jamaica Plain for Game of the Week. Folks, we got a matchup of 2 Boston South squads as the Jeremiah Burke Bulldogs lead the Boston English Blue Eagles 14-0. We're just about ready to start the second quarter. Boston English with the football in Jeremiah Burke territory. And as we mentioned back in that first quarter, Alan, Burke was marching the football down the field, and they fumbled inside the red zone, and that was just a killer.
Yeah, because because Colbreth came right back and chopped off 80 yards for his second touchdown. But English, and again, we talked about how they're implementing an entirely new system offensively. It's actually mirroring what we saw last week with East Boston. So very similar formations, very similar running game to what the East Boston Jets do. English is trying to sort of duplicate that. I mean, their first drive, like you just said, it was short yardage, 3-4 yards at a time, but they were marching. They were in the red zone, and unfortunately lost the ball.
Second down and 8 now for Boston English from the Jeremiah Burke 46-yard line. And this time it's Sam Denton with a nice run out of bounds. Still doesn't get knocked over.
Tell you, good job by Jensen. Actually, he stepped out of bounds at midfield. Too bad, too, because he had really good effort. Short side of the field, you don't usually see runners able to get much like that when there's good pursuit, but good job by Denton. Colbreth is still sort of trying to stretch things out here on the Burke sideline. Looks like he's just going to play offense.
Third down and 4 now for Boston English. See if they can get any kind of momentum going here. Handoff over the right side and nowhere to go for the Blue Eagles.
Well, that final dive.
Exelholm with the carry.
That final dive might have given him like a 2-yard gain, so it'll be a 4th and. Yeah, Markham.
About a 4th and 3.
Right. Last time their first drive, they had a 4th down play. When the second man through was able to get the first down. They used the fullback as a lead blocker.
And now Jeremiah Burke calls another timeout here on the 4th and 3 with 8:45 to go here in the second quarter.
Yeah, it'd be great to see English keep this drive alive and really get down to score and make this a 1-score game. And at the high school level, a lot of times it's, you underestimate how tough it is to put a new system in on offense.
Sure.
You're talking about terminology. You're talking about players who, even your veteran players, like some of your juniors and seniors, if they've been around but they've been doing something totally different, it's just like they're just as new to it as the sophomores and freshmen are.
That's
so,
right. So there's no players to kind of teach the younger players.
Exactly, and so it's all on the coaches. I mean, I think I like the idea that Coach Conway decided, listen, I have a system that I know worked for many years, still works at East Boston. Let me try it here. And obviously, volunteer Coach Lamb went along with it, and the two of them are trying to get this going.
You talk about Boston English, too. Last season, Ryan Conway was the 3rd head coach at Boston English in 3 years. So not only, do you have a new system coming in this year, but you've had 3 different systems over the. So if you're a senior, this is your
that's right.
This is like your 3rd or 4th system,
right?
Being at Boston English. So
and different voices,
right?
Different voices giving all the orders. The different formation here, guys. I formation with 2 receivers out here to the left.
Soto, the deep back in the backfield. Sam Denton, the fullback. David Robinson in motion for Boston English. They pitch it over to the left side for Soto, looking for some room, and Soto's going to be wrapped up. He's not going to get there as he's dragged out of bounds right around the 48.
Different players, they try to fake inside and a pitch to the sideline. Sam Denton trying to be a lead blocker, but they're stopped short.
So once again, a turnover on downs for the first time for Boston English. Jeremiah Burke going to take over at the 48-yard line.
New quarterback is Calbreth. He's on the bench over here. He's not going to. Wouldn't be surprised if he actually sort of aggravated that muscle on the 80 touchdown run, because he really. He was in a full sprint to get away from the defensive back, so they have a new quarterback.
Yeah, Vontae Withers now in there for Jeremiah Burke. He'll be under center. He's one of the starting running backs, so he's used to carrying the football for Burke, and in this offense, that's what you got to do.
And again, a couple of players in different positions.
You see Withers for his first snap at quarterback in this game, and now on first down, and they fumbles the snap. And they recover at the 45 as Ernst Clarison is able to pounce on it. They mark him down at the 46.
And it's one of those things where they may not have even had a chance to practice any snaps, because the Calbreth, it was probably just decided as they got possession of the ball. So we'll see how Devontae can handle it. He's only a sophomore. The old-fashioned wishbone. The University of Texas made it famous a long time ago.
Not many teams still run that, but
Not
Jeremiah Burke does.
Yeah.
Handoff over the right side and nowhere to go.
Good job coming across the line of scrimmage for English.
Peter Francois with the carry there for Burke.
And Cyril Blair.
Cyril, one of the few returning starters for Boston English this season. Cyril started on the offensive and defensive line, and Coach Conway really likes what he sees with him as a nose tackle up front.
He's depending on him, and I think that's why he has him right in the middle of their defense.
He also said he gives Blair a lot of freedom up front to sort of move around.
Let him move around
if
he sees sort of a weaker part of an offensive line, he's able to go and try to attack. There's some confusion, I think, on the English defense.
So Boston English going to take the timeout here on 3rd and 9. We have 6:47 left to go in the second quarter.
Yeah, it's definitely too important to play defensively for English to not be on the same page. So when the coaches on the sideline picked up that their particular alignment wasn't what they wanted against the formation that Burke had. Of the two teams, I think the Burke would be sort of more inclined to put the ball in the air if they really need to. You know, 3rd and 9. They run the ball well, obviously, but it's been all cold breath. He's not in the game, so something different.
Burke actually lost some yardage on the last play, so it's 3rd down and 11 now for Jeremiah Burke. Once again with that wishbone formation. Withers now going to take it around the edge himself, trying to get to the sideline, but he's wrapped up just before the sticks by Michael Castro.
We have a dead ball foul, depending on which team it's on. It might be on both of them, but an offensive lineman and a defensive lineman tussling 30 yards away from the ball, but the flag was still thrown.
One of those penalties that you know you're going to get yelled at when you watch the film.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt, because, well, especially if it's on the Burke, because they gotten very close to the first down. It was a holding. Oh.
Holding on Jeremiah Burke.
Okay. The flag came out so late, I thought it was a dead ball, but it was just a holding play.
So instead of a 4th and 1 now for Burke, they're going to be faced with a 3rd and 21.
Yeah. Well, good chance for English. I mean, they defensively want to get the ball back, obviously. So they've been burned by 2 great runs by Culbreth, who unfortunately is nursing a muscle problem, so he's not in the game.
It's actually a 3rd and 23 because they marked it 10 yards from the spot of the foul, and the hold was in the backfield. So about a 3rd.
Yeah, from the spot of the foul, right? It's even more yards.
About a 3rd and 23 now for Jeremiah Burke. And they try Withers over the other side, and they're going to get a face mask penalty.
I'm telling you, English. Now they were at a spot where you sort of shooting yourself in the foot, because they had the quarterback had him rounded up. It was going to be a personal foul. Yeah, not first down.
You see a young fan braving the tough weather we're getting right now. Yeah, tough penalty there for Boston English, because you back up Burke because of the holding penalty, and almost an impossible situation, especially for the backup quarterback in there. Now you give them a first down in your territory.
Keep that drive alive.
Very tough.
Yeah, this wind is going to be sort of howling the entire game. Be surprised if we see much passing at all. Now, English might have to if they stay behind by 2 scores. Both teams running, really killing the clock.
Handoff up the middle on first down. Good carry here for Jeremiah Burke, breaking a bunch of tackles for the Bulldogs and making his way past the 25 up to the 23 was Adriel Gante.
It was 2nd and 3rd effort, like you say. He ran through a couple of tacklers. Linebacker, and the bad part about that play for English, the linebackers actually came up and got into the gap, but didn't wrap up, couldn't bring him down. He ran through some arm tackles.
So a pickup of 23 that time for Adriel Gante.
22-yard pickup, first down and 10.
First and 10 now for Jeremiah Burke.
At the 22-yard line of English.
Yeah, Withers again.
Yeah, looking for a hole. He does pick up a couple as he's brought down right around the 20, make it the 19-yard line. So pick up of 3 on the play.
Talking about the clock being run down because of all the running, English really needs to keep Burke out of the end zone before halftime.
Yeah, with the way this game's going, they might not get enough possessions in the second half.
That's exactly what I'm thinking. And that's why, I mean, they'll get the ball to start the second half.
Right.
But being down 3 is going to feel like it's insurmountable. They're down 14-0 now. If they can find a way to just keep Burke out of the end zone right before halftime, that'll be a big deal for them. Okay, now they spread 2 receivers, one to each side for the Burke. Yeah, English said, again, there's some confusion because what's happening is Burke is still in the backfield, they're still on the wishbone, but on that particular play, they actually put 2 receivers wide, so it forced English into only single coverage because of the backfield setup. So I'm sure the coaches for English are going to try to adjust depending on what Burke's formation is.
Boston English with the timeout here with 3:45 left to go in the second quarter.
Looks like another Burke player might be fighting cramps here in the sideline. That's another bad thing about this type of weather. It's not really cold, but it's damp enough so it can get into your muscles, and if you're not stretched out or if you can't stay warm somehow, then you're likely to get some cramps.
Yeah, most people think when you get cramps it's because you're dehydrated. Then they say, well, if it's raining out or if it's damp, why are you dehydrated?
Believe me, it
but
happens.
It actually makes it worse a lot of times because your muscles just don't react well to that type of weather.
Not at all. And also being young, you tend to not listen as much.
Sure. So when your coach says
I'm ready
on Monday,
I'm ready to go.
Yeah, when your coach says on Monday, drink a lot of water for Friday, you say, oh, I'll just wait till Wednesday. Then on Wednesday, I'll just wait till Thursday. I'll just wait till Friday morning, and then the coach tells you it's too late. You know, you gotta hydrate
all
much
the way
earlier
through.
in the week.
Yeah, consistently. You're right.
In order to be ready for a game on Friday.
It's good to see Culbreth has got a ball in his hand. Looked like he's smiling. Looked like he might get back in the game at some point, if needed. I mean, if the Burke can keep this shutout going, he may not even have to come back. Be motion on the Burke. They were anxious. They had something. They were going to run. One of the tailbacks was going to get a handoff with the other 2 backs were going to lead him. So they're a little over anxious. It's interesting. Only 3 penalties in the game. Oftentimes when you see teams that struggle a lot, penalties contribute to their struggles. So second down, now 12.
Weather's going to take it again, and this time he's wrapped
Denson,
up in the backfield. Yeah. We got a late flag on the play as well.
Sam Denson came across well. We got 2. Couple of late flags.
Withers on the carry. There's a penalty flag on the field.
I think the first one was holding on Jeremiah Burke. I think possibly the second one was on English, and they might be offsetting.
Yeah. Personal foul, also on the Burke. Wow. So double.
That's going to back them up.
I'd say this is going to help English. Like I said, the sideline is thinking the same thing we're thinking. We got to keep the Brook out of the end zone before halftime. So this is really going to back them up. Personal foul, something that happened away from the ball, actually. Look at this walk-off. Going all the way back to close to midfield. Yeah, because the personal foul is dead ball, so that gets walked off also. They just had a 25-yard penalty. 3:17 to go before halftime. Still 14-0 Burke, and even without their starting quarterback in the game, Withers has done a decent job. He just had his teammates have sort of hurt his efforts by their penalties.
Second down and 40 now for Jeremiah Burke, and now we have
45.
a false start.
Yeah.
Just tack on 5 more, right? Why not?
I'm not sure if this is the cadence being so different from Culbreth to Withers or what, but Burke's going to take a timeout just to get themselves settled. I think this is more in terms of the second half, because coaching staff then no, okay, we're up 14-0 right now, but if Culbreth can't come back and we have to stay with Withers for the entire second half, we have got to do these little things right. We can't be giving yardage away and giving English chance after chance to get back in the game. I think that's what we're lucky we don't have a microphone there. But I mean, clearly, that's the message. Listen, guys, just do what we told you to do. We practice this, because they've gone back to their basic formation, so it all should be pretty easy. But you're talking about 2 false starts, a dead ball personal foul, which should never happen when you're ahead.
Sure.
So here, what they're doing is they're giving some life to English, because now English in their heads have said, okay, let's get the ball back before halftime and see what happens.
Yeah, right now English is thinking first stop them,
and
then get the ball back and then see what we can do. And like you said, that
you
personal
see an angry
foul,
coach.
You see that personal foul penalty, and that's just what gets coaches
those are killers.
annoyed.
Those are killers because
the holding penalty is just part of a play that just happens in football. But when you have that personal foul penalty, it's so unnecessary. That's when coaches get upset. 2nd and 45 for the Jeremiah Burke Bulldogs. It's Withers going to take it over the right side, and he shoved out of bounds.
Yes,
by Castro.
Yeah. That's how you don't hear that too often. 3rd and 42, huh?
There's our ace grip, Ken Bergeron. He wanted to make sure everybody could see him from West Roxbury, so he put on the yellow.
With the reflectors.
That's right.
He got the reflectors, too.
So just in case the lights get shut off for whatever reason here at White Stadium.
Go find Kenny.
Kenny can light the field for everybody else. Now on 3rd and 42, and
more motion.
Another false start.
The real bad part about this, it seems like it's different people each time. Well,
and now Burke's going to take another timeout.
They have
Coach Beeman can blow off some more steam.
Yeah, I'm telling you, they're at their own 44. They have to get to the 23-yard line of English for a first down. I think he's probably just asking the question, what is going on? Why is it we can't get the cadence right? And why can't we just stay in our stance until the ball snaps?
I mean, you always mention when a backup quarterback comes in, the tone of his voice is different.
Oh, yeah.
But they have to be making it more
really simple, right? Very basic.
With the young
no
guy
doubt.
in there.
There's no doubt about that. And it doesn't seem to me it's an issue with Withers at all. I don't think it's him. It's just his teammates, for some reason, they're over-anxious or they're just not concentrating. They have a 14-point lead. And they've been in control of the game thanks to the two fantastic runs by the starting quarterback, Culbreth. So they have full control of the game. And now the offense is doing its best to give English some life. Obviously, if they can't make this third down, they're going to have to give the ball up. Okay, the English safety, he's Ernest Clareson.
Yeah.
He's all the way back. What's that? 20 yards back.
And he's still got another.
And he's still
14
yards
to
away
go
from the first down marker.
Make that 25. My goodness. 3rd down and 47 for Jeremiah Burke.
Withers again.
Withers going to try to throw it downfield, and he throws it into next week. So it'll be 4th down and 47 for the Burke Bulldogs. Culbert's going back in. I wonder if he's also the punter.
Yeah, he must be the punter. Although I'm surprised they have him punting if he has a muscle, a leg problem. Talk about a series to forget. That's, I mean.
Culbreth with the low snap. Now going to run it himself over the left side. Boston English looking to chase him down, and he had to get half the field to get a first down. Got about a 25-yard pickup there for Culbreth.
They also got a flag in the play. Back here at the 43-yard line. It was actually a pretty clean play first quarter and into the second quarter, but this last 5 minutes has been that's been more what we're used to when you see teams that they haven't won a game yet. Looks like the penalty's on the Burke, so the English sideline is trying to decide if they just want the ball where it is or they're going to push Burke back and give him another 4th down. Holding, so.
So English is going to accept the penalty.
I don't know. I mean, well, now that they've shown the fake, English is thinking, okay, they're not going to fake twice in a row. So if he punts, we can get some type of return and maybe get something going in this last 146. So you see Culbreth.
You see Culbreth. Oh, he's hurt.
That's definitely a muscle pull. Just a strain or a pull, so. Because it stiffens up quickly. It's like I said, it's not very cold, but the dampness gets into the muscle. And it's really hard to keep it warm. It looks like this is their regular punt formation now. A few of the guys are coming out.
Yeah, Culbreth's got to come.
Yeah, he says he can't.
I think he's got to come out of the game.
He can't punt.
He can barely walk. I don't think he's going to be able to get a punt off.
I mean, and the surprising thing, Pat, he showed good speed on that fake. I mean, he got like a 25, 26-yard run. So you can see the stiffness in that right leg as he's limping off. I doubt if we're going to see him the rest of the game.
Yeah, that doesn't look like an injury where if you stretch it out, warm it up, it's gonna loosen that muscle up.
And this is just the second game for Burke. They get the rest of the season.
That's right.
Man, he's by far their best player.
We're actually going to see Jeremiah Burke next week also when they face Madison Park at Madison.
So still 4th down and first punch of the game.
So Celestin back to kick. It's a high punt over the left side of his foot. Decent roll for Burke. Up to the Boston English 38-yard line.
Well, we haven't seen English put the ball in the air, even attempt a pass. They have a minute and a half. Let's see if English wants to take the chance of giving Castro any passing plays.
So Boston English will have the football with 1:35 left to go here in the second quarter.
Tell you, that first quarter flew by. The second quarter is really dragging. All the penalties.
Right. Owen Burke has 5 penalties in one series.
And each one stops the clock.
That's right.
Okay, so now Withers will also go in as a safety. Because like we said, Colbert is on the bench.
Now on first down, again with the power eye for Boston English. They hand off up the middle again, and it's Soto again with the carry. And we'll mark him down at the 41.
I think part of the problem for English is formation. Soto on that play, he's like almost 8 yards behind the line of scrimmage. He's deep back in the eye. So he's the second handoff. So by the time he gets the ball, he's behind the line of scrimmage. Even though it looks like he's gaining yardage, he ends up with a 3-yard gain.
You also wonder,
puts a lot of pressure on the offensive lineman to
exactly
get a block and sustain it, to give him some room to look at it again. He's 7 yards, 8 yards behind the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, it takes him so long to get to the line of scrimmage that the offensive linemen have to hold their blocks longer.
First pass.
First down, they try the pass to David Robinson, and the pass is just a little too high.
Wide receiver screen.
Yeah, Coach Conway mentioned how much he likes David. There you see him, number 4, very good athlete, very good football player for this English team. He installed a couple of plays for him this week just to get him going a little bit, because he is a weapon on their offense.
He's a wide receiver screen. That's one of the more popular plays in high school football now, because you just take, like you said, one of your best or your best wide receiver, and especially if you see one-on-one coverage, which is what they have, because English has not even tried to throw the ball at all.
You see Coach Beeman talking about Pat Colbreth on the sideline.
I think they're deciding if he's going to play at all second half. I sort of doubt it. Okay, now they got 2 receivers on Williams' side.
Now they hand off up the middle
Denton
to Denton, who picks up a couple.
It looks like English is going to be satisfied to go into halftime down 2 scores. They will get the ball on open kickoff for the third quarter, which is something.
Michael Castro in his first season playing varsity football.
They got to hustle to get this playoff. I'm telling you,
just about 5 seconds left to go. We'll see if they can get the snap off. Wow, they just got it off before the end of the quarter. And they might have fumbled the football at the end of the quarter, but it does not matter.
Halftime.
So at the half here at White Stadium, the Jeremiah Burke Bulldogs on top of the Boston English Blue Eagles, 14-0.
Oh, he had 2 exciting plays. I mean, Colbreth, we opened the game talking about he's their best player on the field, obviously. Most talented, senior. And we saw his speed on a 52-yard run, then an 81-yard run.
Right.
So 130-yard yards and 2 plays. giving the 14-point lead to his Burke team.
Without question. And the big thing for Boston English right now is you saw, Culberth comes, he has that 52-yard touchdown run, and they go up 6-0, and then you see English start to drive down the field, but then they fumble the football.
That's the killer.
And that was the big momentum swing right there.
It kills you in so many ways. Okay, you're keeping the ball away from Culberth on offense because you have a nice, like you always say, ground and pound.
Right.
A nice grinding drive. You're inside the 20-yard line.
Yep.
You lose the football. And then, of course, he comes back and burns you right away on a third down play where you want to try to get the ball back. He goes 80 yards.
Without question. Tough one to swallow there for Boston English, but they go into the half without Burke scoring a touchdown there in the second quarter. The head coach of Jeremiah Burke, Byron Beeman, is with our sideline reporter, Seth Orensky. Seth, take it away.
Joined by Jeremiah Burke head coach Byron Beeman. Coach, we'll start with the positive. Pat Culberth, first 2 carries, 2 huge touchdown runs, really giving you guys the momentum early. What is his leadership? And, I mean, he went off with an injury, but he was still being a vocal leader. What does that mean to this team and obviously his big game ability as well?
Means everything, man. Patrick is just one heck of a football player, one heck of a young man. We're really lucky to have him. Of course, he came out here and proved that. A couple of quick times, got us on the board really quickly, took advantage of that. Unfortunately, he's out with the injury right now, but I mean, of course, jumping out to an early lead, now we just have to play defense and kind of try to put something together offensively to keep things going without him.
That leads to my second question. I know you were talking to the trainer and Pat right before halftime. Will we potentially see him in the second half, or is he done for the day?
Well, I think he might be done. I mean, there's no point in risking further injury at this point. I mean, he has a whole season to play. He has opportunities. So, I mean, right now, hopefully we can just put something together offensively to come out here and just be competitive in the second half and, get Patrick looked at, and hopefully everything's okay.
Avante Withers did a nice job filling in for him, running the ball a lot. Did head to the bench with an injury of his own. What can we expect if we see more of Avante in the second half?
Avante's a heck of an athlete too. He's a 10th grader, first year playing with us, but an exceptional athlete and just able to fill in right now. We're gonna, call some plays that more fit his skill set and try to get our running backs, out of the clouds right now and things like that. So hopefully we can get something going in the second half.
Coach, thanks so much for your time. Good luck with the injury bug in the second half.
All right, thanks a lot.
Guys, take it away.
Thanks very much, Seth. And certainly when your quarterback goes down, you want those running backs to step up. And Coach Beeman, I think, has a lot to say to his running backs. Right?
Oh, definitely. Well, he was laughing about all the motion penalties.
Right.
I mean, the running backs, they were anxious to get the handoff, but
right.
You got to run the play correctly. So that's like as you expect. And it's good that Seth was able to get out of him that we won't see Culberth. No need to. You have control of the game. The Burke defense is doing a good job. I mean, that one drive that we talked about earlier for English in the first quarter, they hurt themselves by giving the ball up. So I think that the Burke coaches are feeling like we can handle this, we can manage the rest of the second half because our defense is playing well.
Yeah, we'll see what kind of adjustments both these teams make here at the half. We'll see if Boston English can maybe get something going as they start the third quarter.
I want to see them get a touchdown. That would make it fun.
That would be a lot of fun to see Boston English get a TD at some point during this game. Now, we've shown this package a lot throughout the last year or so, but the Brighton Bengals, finally, they used to play at this stadium, White Stadium, all the time for home games, but now they have a field just down the street from their high school, so we're going to take a look at that story right now.
Let's go 5 RB counter, double team right there, up to that backer.
Brighton Bengals head football coach Randolph Abraham is a stickler for details. His play calling is complex.
Trips right open, zip, 99 jet.
And his instructions are precise.
I want you guys to blow this kid up because we need to get movement. We get this movement, look at the size of the hole, then climb up to the backer.
But before the 2016 season, Abraham's coaching style wasn't the only complicated aspect of the Brighton Bengals football program. Since the 1980s, the Bengals have been a football gridiron orphan. After their former practice field next to the Charles River in Brighton fell into disrepair. The Bengals then bounced around to different practice facilities until 1998, when they settled on Cassidy Field in Cleveland Circle, a less than ideal location for football drills and scrimmages.
That field is just, oh my God, it's just unbearable. Holes, we have geese feces all over the place.
There's like a lot of rocks, holes, there's like hills, it's uneven.
The lines were never straight. It's just dealing with the elements. It was just not an ideal situation.
To make matters worse, private spaces for the Bengals to change into their pads were few and far between.
And when I played, we changed outside. Whether it was rain, snow, doesn't matter, we had to change outside, in the middle of, the field.
Home games were also an adventure for the Bengals. Each Friday, Brighton would have to leave school hours before game time and make the crosstown trek to Boston English, and then years later, White Stadium.
Well, we're very thankful to all the city, teams and White Stadium for allowing us to play. And we would have to leave kind of like right after school and try to beat the traffic, wait a few hours before the game, hope to get a locker room because they're doing double headers.
Playing games at White Stadium, it's old, it has history behind it. Everybody that played there, my dad played there, but I just wanted to play on our own field, a place that we can call home.
But over the last handful of seasons, word began to trickle through the Bengal community that a brand new field was in the works.
I didn't believe it. Quite honestly, I didn't believe it until last year, around November. Coach Abraham told me, hey, it's real. And I'll be honest with you, I still didn't believe it until I came out here physically and saw him doing construction.
The Brighton community teamed up with Simmons College, who began leasing the Daly Field Athletic Complex, the former home of the Brighton Bengals. Simmons then financed a $13.5 million refurbishing of the Daly Field Athletic Complex that they would then share with Brighton High School after the completion of the renovation.
And it turned into an amazing partnership between Brighton High School, Brighton community, and Simmons College. And well, Simmons is doing a great job. First of all, I want to thank them for putting this together for us and just working with us. They have a maintenance group here. They take care of the field.
And in the summer of 2016, the Brighton Bengals coaches and players were able to walk onto their very own home football field for the first time.
Oh man, I shed a tear. I did. It was beautiful, for putting in all this work as a player, as a coach. We finally have a place to call home.
It got to a point where I just come out here with just shoes and socks and just start running over the field because I was just excited.
The new Daly Field comes fully equipped to serve the needs of the Bengals football program, whether it be the new locker room for the Bengals to occupy.
Here, we're changing inside with his heat now, running water and bathrooms.
With the state-of-the-art organic turf that Brighton now practices on.
No rocks, no slipping on nothing, no hills. It's just flat, nice and even.
What I was told when I went to several meetings at Simmons is there's a padding right underneath the turf, the grass, and it actually prevents the concussions.
They're supposed to reduce concussions something like 50%. And that's why, again, it's great practice in here as opposed to Cassidy. That's where we would have our concussions at practice, where here it's like the kids can go and get taken to the ground and they bounce right back up because of the foam underneath the turf.
In addition to its brand new amenities, Daly Field sits less than a mile from Brighton High and provides an accessible venue for members of the Brighton High School community.
When we go out fundraising, people ask us, like, where's the field at? And we used to say at White Stadium, but now we just say at Daly Field. Now a lot of people from our school can come out, people from the community are coming out. We have these stands packed.
Now that we're here, people coming home from work, go home, take a walk, 5-minute walk down the street, you're right here.
But as these Bengals relish in their newly minted football residence, they will be sure to remember the decades of players and coaches who had to sacrifice before them.
On opening night, when my brothers came out and they saw that the dream was reality, they couldn't believe it either. They were happy that we finally had a place to call home.
Many of them don't even, a lot of the new kids don't know what it felt like to be in geese, poop, and practice football, but this is everybody's field, all the Bengals. Nice job! Nice job.
There you have it, the Brighton Bengals now with their home field over at Daly Field, and you see a lot of high schools and colleges sort of partnering up now here because this real estate is scarce here at a premium in Boston because we live in such a highly densely populated area in such a small space that there's not a lot of room for fields where you need a lot of space. So
the thing about it is, as amazing as it sounds simple. Have the local college partner up with either a school or the school department, the athletic department.
Sure.
But it's taken a lot of years for it to happen. But obviously, it's great that it started, and hopefully we'll see some more of this because, the high schools should be a natural feeder into the colleges. Right. And so the colleges should be, the money they generate should be able to, like you said, they put, can you imagine $13 million for the field? Yeah. I mean, where else is that going to come from? Right. So it's definitely not coming from the school department budget. Right. So college is a natural partner.
Without question, Suffolk University are also partnering up with East Boston for that field over near the airport that we saw last week where Eastie plays Sartori Stadium. So a lot of good partnerships happening amongst both the high schools and the colleges here in Boston. Let's take a look at the halftime stats here at White Stadium. First up, we're going to take a look at Boston English.
Not what's going on. Denton had a couple of nice runs, ended up with 25 yards on 6 carries. Soto running inside with his small body, still 20 yards on 7 carries, and nothing passing at all. Just that one wide receiver screen that they tried, but that was incomplete for Castro.
Let's take a look at the Burke stats.
Totally different. Culbreth, 3 carries, 157 yards, and both touchdowns from the first half. Guante added 25 yards and 4 carries. No passing at all. Withers tried a 3rd down pass, but that was incomplete. So with the way this wind is going, I don't think we're going to see any passing, especially from the Burke. I mean, we might see some more from English because they do, like you said, they want to get the ball to Williams, the really good wide receiver.
David Robinson as well.
I'm sorry, Robinson. So it's one of those things where English will get the ball to start the 3rd quarter. They may decide to open the playbook up a little bit because their running inside has not really done much for them other than that first drive. And you hear the Burke coach say at halftime, they can't allow that to happen because they don't want English eating up the clock and then somehow sneaking in the end zone, making it a 1-score game. Then at that point, anything can happen.
Right. So we'll see if Burke can kind of clamp down Boston English. Meanwhile, English has had a couple of series where they've sustained the drives but haven't been able to complete the task, especially when you can't hang on to the football. So we'll see if those adjustments are made here at halftime. Folks, we're going to head to break. When we come back, we have the second half here at White Stadium on Game of the Week right after these words. Don't go away.
Did you know dragging chains can spark a wildfire?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
We cannot be bystanders.
We can stop to make sure someone is okay.
We can warn someone when their drink isn't safe.
And disrupt the situation.
We can
get someone a cab.
Or walk them home safely.
We can make campuses safer for our friends.
Our roommates,
our classmates, our fellow human beings.
We cannot be bystanders.
We can intervene.
It's on us.
All of us.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
Look at you. You're at the top of your game. You're unstoppable. Nothing can throw you off track. Wait, is that your car? Uh-oh. Yeah, I saw that coming. That will throw you off track. You're looking at around 10 grand in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Let's try this again. Smart move. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Hey, you.
Yeah, you. Getting that college education? What are you gonna do? Graduate and take some office job? Be like everybody else? Or will you dare do something different? Like be a teacher. You could be my teacher. You got the skills. The smarts? Yes, you. You could be the teacher I never forget. That'd be cool. Does that corporate job even have recess? What are you gonna make of yourself? What are you gonna make of me?
Here we go. We're gonna go out there in the rain. Gonna get wet. All right, here we go. Okay, quick. Oh yeah, yes. So much fun. Mwah. We're getting so wet.
With the groove, show proof, keep it smooth as I bust the move. Ayo, step it swiftly with the keep up. If not, just stop, pop a spot, put your feet up, read up, pay attention, listen to the melody. Remember what you heard, got my words to the spell of me. Top notch, got them all jumping like hopscotch. A jumping rope like double dutch in the air. Show
It's a short ride from your neighborhood to your naturehood. To find a neighborhood park or green space near you, visit discovertheforest.org.
Green hat, red hat, oops. Red shirt, blue shirt, yellow shirt, oops. Yellow pants, red pants, green pants, oops.
Welcome back to White Stadium in Jamaica Plain as we continue our coverage of our Week 3 matchup between the Jeremiah Burke Bulldogs and the Boston English Blue Eagles. Jeremiah Burke with a 14-0 lead over Boston English. The English Blue Eagles about to receive from Jeremiah Burke.
Well, the one word that we say on every football broadcast is adjustments. Let's see what happens here.
And looks
whistle.
like we got
that's a bad break for English. They had a
nice
lane
little setup.
Exactly.
Yeah, Denton, who runs really hard up the middle with a clear path straight down the field.
Well, the referee may not have given the signal.
Yeah, the refs might not have been set yet.
Well, actually, English has had 2 decent returns on both kickoffs. So.
Yeah, that has not been a problem for them tonight. So Herbie Exelholm back deep to receive.
He would love to bring this all the way back.
Oh, yeah. Exelholm does field it right around the 13-yard line. Here comes Exelholm down the sideline, breaking a couple of tackles, and he makes his way up to the 33.
I'll tell you, for a small guy, he runs hard.
He ran somebody over out there. Well, you know what? Coach Conway mentioned it. You know, as we talked about at the beginning of the game, Irvin Exelholm, his older brother, plays at West Roxbury, and he said he's just a smaller version of Irvin. He loves football, tough kid. Certainly has the athleticism and the speed. Just a sophomore, so Coach Conway is excited to have him for, this year and 2 more.
And he's the type of player who you may also see switch positions because he like you say, he has the versatility, he has quickness, speed, and plays tough regardless of his size. I like the way he runs.
So Boston English, with the opening drive of the second half, they have the football at the 34-yard line.
And even though it seemed like the Burks has been in total control, the fact of the matter is it's a 2-score game.
On first down, the handoff again to Exelholm, and he is wrapped up in the backfield. Nowhere to go.
That time they're definitely waiting for him.
Alan Montalvo coming up with the stop in the backfield.
A 5-yard loss, almost 4-yard loss.
Actually saw Montalvo just before the teams came out for the second half. He called the entire Burke team together and huddled them up. So I don't know, maybe because Colbreth, the quarterback, is not playing now.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Montalvo
that's probably what it was.
Said
we're going to win this on defense. That's probably what the message was. If we can hold them to no points, we don't need any more points. People always talk about managing the game on offense. You can also manage the game on defense. I mean, if you play it right, you're already in the lead. Then, don't overrun plays. Just sort of stay in your area.
2nd and 13 now for the Boston English Blue Eagles. A handoff up the middle to Denton with a big hole, trying to break a tackle as he's well past midfield.
Good job.
Gets dragged down at the 49 of Jeremiah Burke. Tough run.
Well, you called
Sam
it,
Denton.
You said that in the in the first half. He does run hard. He runs, and he has deceptive speed. Every once in a while, if English can hit the hole right, you get that kind of result. We had one play like that in the first half with Exelholm, and now Denton. Timing on the handoff helped him just like a sprinter, getting out of the blocks. And big first down for English.
So Denton with a 20-yard run for the Blue Eagles. That gets them into Burke territory at the 49-yard line. Now first down for Boston English.
Okay, Exelholm now is going to go out in the slot.
Soto again the deep back, Denton again the fullback. Hand off to Denton again, and then again with another nice run. Breaks one more tackle. Denton still on his feet. Down the sideline, past the 30. Stumbles to about the 27.
Excellent run by Denton again. He got a little tired at the end. Like you said, he was stumbling. That was some fatigue. Let's not forget, English is still looking for their first score of the season. This is their third game. They've been shut out twice. They're looking for their first score of the season.
23-yard run there for Denton as they mark him down at the 26.
They're almost 45 yards and 2 carries.
And now Coach Beeman wants to take another timeout. It was 7:55 left to go in the third quarter. So Denton getting it done here at the start of the third quarter. 43 yards on the ground and just 2 carries for Denton here to start off the second half. Meanwhile, in the first half, he only had 23 yards.
You know, the funniest thing, this timeout's going to help him as much as anybody else. I mean, he was definitely winded at the end of that run, but now with this timeout that the Burke called, he's going to get refreshed and try to keep it going.
So, assistant coach Kevin Bowes there for Jeremiah Burke.
Now, let's not forget, Culbreth, usually defensive safety who comes up and makes a lot of tackles, not in the game.
Yeah, you forget the defensive impact that his injury makes. And, you know, Coach Beeman mentioned that he thinks Culbreth can play at the collegiate level, but it might be on defense rather than offense. And one first down for Boston English as they look to keep the momentum going. They hand off over the right side to Soto, and he is wrapped up in the backfield, nowhere to go.
That was a misread that time by Castro. I mean, he has the option of pulling the ball back if he sees that his running back's going to get bottled up or thrown for a loss. But that's some inexperience. Again, you know, even though Castro is a junior, he's a first-time quarterback. But in that kind of system, when you read it, especially when you're coming down the line, you can pull the ball back, keep it yourself. You also have a pitch man still back there. A little bit of miss coming back, so the ball may be getting wet.
Yeah, the wind has picked up. As you can probably hear from our mics. And now it's Soto again on second down and might have picked up a yard.
Yeah, the problem is he was just going from side to side. He never planted his foot to go upfield.
So no gain on the play. It'll be 3rd and 11. Now for Boston English.
Yeah, we're almost halfway through the third quarter, and English just trying to sustain this drive. Ideally, get half on this play, then get the other half on the 4th down.
2 receivers at the bottom of your screen here on 3rd and 11. They fake the handoff. Castro's got some time. Finds Robinson, who escapes the tackle, but is tripped up right around the 23.
You had it right, Pat. He did a good job. First of all, he caught the ball, okay, and needed to get some yards after the catch to try to get the first down, but as it looked like he was escaping, just got tripped up, and it'll be a 4th down now, and it's going to be like a 4th and, I guess,
I'm going to say a 4th and 7. So they picked up about 4 yards on that pass.
That's the kind he'll dream about, because if he was able to keep his footing, he had some room down that sideline.
You can see the rain go by the light there. It's sort of a swirling mist coming through here at White Stadium. 4th and 7 now for Boston English at the Burke 24-yard line. Hand off to Denton. He's not going to go down easy, but he is brought down at the 20.
Depends on his forward progress, because he made some forward progress before he was thrown back. He's going to be short. Oh, yeah, he's going to be stopped. Burke will take over. Yeah,
so
tough break for English, like you say. Again,
another good drive that they get down close to the red zone and just can't.
It's close, and it was just as close as having Robinson slip and fall, because on the first completion of the game for English, he actually had a chance to spin out and then go downfield, but. Now English has to make sure they don't get burned with a big play. His Withers giving everybody their instructions a second time.
Now on 1st down for Burke.
Ball came out.
Fumble the football.
Yeah.
And Boston English has recovered. So English with a fumble right around this part of the field. Back in the first quarter, they now recover a fumble in the red zone. We'll see if Boston English can now get a chance to find Pater.
Trying to take advantage. That was a handoff. Ario Gonte couldn't pull it in. The English offense back on the field. By far their best chance to score. Having a 1st down inside the 20-yard line. Yeah, this has got to get you really fired up if you're English.
Castro now rolling to his left. Looking for a receiver, going to tuck it in and run. Castro,
his first run,
is then forced out of bounds, but a good gain there on 1st down for the Blue Eagles.
I don't know where it's been the entire game. I said back in the first quarter, I was waiting for him to fake a handoff and just keep the ball.
So 8-yard pickup there on 1st down. It'll be 2nd and 2 for Boston English.
Good to see them. I mean, at least now his teammates know, all right, now our quarterback's in the game.
You also got to think that's one more player that Burke now has to kind of key on.
Exactly. Yeah, Culbert's definitely done for the day as he got his pads and jersey off.
Boy, this heavy mist continues to roll through here at White Stadium. 2nd down and 2 now for English. They hand off to Denton, spins off a tackle. Denton inside the 5. Another tough run from the senior from Ohio.
The key to the whole run is he kept control of the football as he was spinning. A lot of times you're spinning in the rain with a slippery football, a hit will jar it loose. But like you said, he's showing how they played in Ohio, I guess, because he wants to finish this off. You talk about a pleasant surprise. Think about, okay, when he moved here from Ohio and walks on his first day of practice, the coaches say, "Whoa,
yeah,
we might have something here."
Where'd this young man come from?
But you're right, he's had some really tough runs.
1st and goal now for English, and you got to think Denton's going to get it.
Either that or a sneak by Castro. There you go.
Castro does try for the sneak, and I think he's going to be short. Might have got to the half-yard line. We're at the 3-yard line now, at the 1, I believe. So 2-yard pickup. It'll be 2nd and goal now for English. You see Coach Conway trying to figure out.
Oh, their left tackle weighs over 400 pounds. Now he's a tackle, so that's sort of a ways to go to get behind him.
Sure.
But, and like you said, we said from the beginning, you look at Castro right there. He's
got some size on him.
Yeah, he's over 200 pounds himself. Obviously, a huge point in the game for English if they're really going to try to come all the way back for this one. They because there's only been one conversion was made the 2 touchdowns, which is always an important factor.
2nd down and goal now for Boston English. The handoff to Denton. Denton up the middle, touchdown, English. Sam Denton with a huge drive, and he caps it off with a touchdown run. Also, you saw that Boston English offensive line really fire off the ball.
Gave him a thrust, and it all goes back to the fumble they recovered. All right, you get the ball back. You like you said, you had a decent drive, but you give the ball up on downs. Then next thing you see is a nice drive, good running, like you said, by Denton.
Denton now with 11 rushes for 75 yards on the evening. And English now going to look for the 2-point conversion.
And now Culbreth has his uniform back on. He just came out in a hoodie, but he put his shoulder pads and jersey back on.
And the handoff to Exelholm. He fumbles the football. And much like Burke on their first 2-point attempt, that's going to be no good for Boston English. But the Blue Eagles are on the board here at White Stadium as they score with a 1-yard touchdown plunge from Sam Denton, who was basically the go-to man that entire drive. They then turned it over on downs, but then stripped Jeremiah Burke, got the football back in the red zone, was able to drive it down the field and get that touchdown. And now if you're Boston English, you're feeling a little bit better over on that sideline.
Oh, you're still in the 3rd quarter. You made a 1-score game. I know that Burke is really glad to see number 2 back in the uniform.
You wonder how effective he's going to be.
Well, he's going to go out for this kickoff return.
I also thought there was a chance they would put him in at quarterback and then hand the ball off a lot and just have him in there to be under center and to sort of be a calming influence on Burke.
Keep things organized. Stay away from those penalties.
But at the same time, if he's back to return a kick, they probably expect him to run the ball.
He must be okay. He came out. I saw him come out. He had a hoodie on. He had his jersey and his shoulder pads in his hand. But during that drive by English that ended in the touchdown, he put his stuff back on. He's ready to go again.
We saw English try an onside kick to start off the game. They're set up for that same type of kick here now.
Well, they're definitely going to keep it away from Culbreth.
And, of course, Ryan Conway coming from the Boston English coaching tree. So this is what they do each time they kick the football off. They don't even tee it up. They just kick it off from the turf.
Trying to get their formation set.
They have the kickoff team overloaded on that left side at the top of your screen. I don't know if they're going that way.
And
now they go with the onside kick again, and it's recovered easily.
Good job.
By Jeremiah Burke.
Was able to Oliver, Olivier. Yes, he was able to aggressively go and get the ball before he got 10 yards. English can't touch it until it goes 10 yards. So Olivier did a good job. He has the right to go inside the 10-yard barrier and recover, which he did. I think the wet field actually hurt English on that because they were slowed the ball up. There was not much of a roll at all. So let's see what kind of shape Culbreth's in. He's back out there, as much like you said, just to settle things down. And get his team focused again.
Now on first down, the handoff up the gut. And getting the carry again is Adriel Guante.
That's good for him, actually, because he he lost the ball on the last drive. So for him to get this first handoff and
sort of shake things off.
Exactly. Get his confidence back. That's it's important.
Yeah, picked up 2 on that play, so it'll be 2nd down and 8 now for Jeremiah
and what's
Burke.
funny, a little thing is, we talked about changing quarterbacks, but cadence and the differences, even handing off can be a little different. So even though Guante had that fumble, it could have been because Withers hands it off differently from Culbreth. So all those things can sort of mess with your comfort level.
You also have Withers now back in the backfield. He can now carry the football.
Far more familiar.
Now in 2nd and 9,
Culbreth
going to keep it himself. Looks pretty spry after the injury. And they whistle the play dead. Or they did not. I thought I heard a whistle as well.
Yeah, we definitely heard a whistle.
There was no reason to, but.
Well, they've got to talk about this because English definitely stopped. I think their officials were faked out thinking someone had the ball.
So they thought the ball carried. They thought one of the running backs had the football, so it was an inadvertent whistle.
I mean, English has been burned twice on huge runs by Culbreth, but this time they really can't be blamed for not getting in because the whistle.
If it's an inadvertent whistle, they can't allow that play to stand. I know Coach Beeman doesn't like that, but I definitely heard a whistle.
Oh no, there was definitely. That's why they're talking about it now. There's clearly a whistle blown.
There's no way that they should let that play stand.
So they're going to get the ball at the spot that the whistle was blown.
That makes sense.
And when they got together, they're just trying to determine where the ball was when the whistle blew.
So they're going to mark the football down at the Boston English 35-yard line. So that's about a 12-yard run for Pat Culbreth.
He was off to the races again.
Without question. Now, he went by some English players who were sort of standing up saying what's going on, but there was certainly a chance that he could have taken that the distance again.
Yeah, the English shows they're inexperienced defensively because the entire game he's fooled them with the simple fake handoff and keep it.
Now on first down, a good run there by Guante, who breaks a couple of tackles up to the 30-yard line, so a tough run there from Adriel Guante.
This is actually what Burke wants to do. They want to kill clock. That might have been the last play of the 3rd quarter. Burke shouldn't be in any hurry to get to the huddle.
Without question, with a 8-point lead right now, you're well into English territory.
Let this run out.
So that'll do it for the 3rd quarter here at White Stadium as the Jeremiah Burke Bulldogs lead the Boston English Blue Eagles 14-6. English now within 1 score, but time is running out. We're going to head to the 4th quarter when we come back here at White Stadium on Game of the Week.
We just finished dinner and it was time for homework. He hates homework.
It makes no sense.
I don't know how he finds anything in his backpack.
I can't find my backpack.
I couldn't even read his handwriting.
Holding the pencil makes my hand hurt.
I know he's bright.
Why is it so hard for me?
He's just gotta try a little harder.
I can.
When you can see learning and attention issues from their side, you can be on their side. Go to understood.org, a free online resource with support and tools to help your child thrive.
Welcome back to White Stadium in Jamaica Plain as we're just about ready to start the 4th quarter here on Game of the Week. Jeremiah Burke with a 14-6 lead, and our sideline reporter Seth Orensky's got an update for us. Seth, what's happening?
Thanks, guys. As you can see, to start this drive at the end of the third quarter, now heading into the fourth quarter, the starting quarterback for Burke has returned. And really, Byron Beeman just said he wouldn't stay out of the game. He wanted him to sit out. He knows that the games going forward are more important than just the second half of this game. But when you have a senior leader who plays on both sides of the ball and sees the game gets a little close, you just can't keep him out. And that's why he's back out there. And he should have had a third score if not for that inadvertent whistle. Guys?
Thanks very much, Seth. It is often the players who get themselves back in the game after a situation like that.
Good point by Seth. Seniors who you depend on, you always talk about leading the team by example, and this is a perfect case of it with Culbreth. Especially when he's a threat to score at any point in the field.
Second down and 5 now for Jeremiah Burke at the Boston English 30-yard line. And short carry there on second down, about a 2-yard pickup there for Guante.
It's been a one-on-one tackle that time for by English, Eric Mack. I'm sorry, Robinson. Again, English has got to be wary of that ball fake by Culbreth.
Third down and 3 now for Jeremiah Burke. The handoff to Guante once again, and he is brought down just short of the first down. Like Robinson and also one of the defensive linemen for Boston English.
Excellent job. They
Takai Hockett getting out there.
Held him to no gain. So it's going to be a 4th and almost 3. This is where Culbreth does their play fake and then just creates something. It's interesting. So those simple handoffs were getting yardage in the first half.
Fourth down and 3 now for Jeremiah Burke. Culbreth going to take it himself. He's got some room to the outside. Culbreth's got the first down. Then he just runs out of bounds at the 22, make that the 21-yard line. 7-yard run there for Culbreth. And now you're seeing why he's back in the ball game. Not even for that big play ability, just to kind of get the first down, keep the chains moving.
Keep the chains moving, keep the clock running. Now, English has had trouble with containing all game. Both of his touchdowns were actually what, like you said, should have been his third touchdown.
Right.
All of them with sort of the same pattern, as he was able to break containment and then use the speed on the sideline.
5 carries, 178 yards and 2 touchdowns this evening for Pat Culbreth, and he barely played in the second quarter.
Like you said, only came back because the game was a one-score game.
Now on first down, good handoff up the middle, and English is all over it.
Oh, Gary Robinson. He's got a flag. I'm not sure if that's going to be.
That might be a late hit on the senior.
Unnecessary roughness. Yeah, personal foul. Wow. Another killer. You make a good play defensively, throw him for a loss, now you can give the yardage back and some.
That's a tough play for a defensive player too, because you saw Robinson driving the running back, and it's like you don't want to let up in case the play is still continued, right. But there is a whistle being blown. It's sort of a tough situation for a defensive player because you want the player to be aggressive as well.
Just giving yards away like that. You just gave away took away a loss and gave away a first down. And not only that, you put the ball inside your own 10-yard line.
So they have Jeremiah Burke now with the football at the 8-yard line, so it'll be first and goal for the Burke Bulldogs.
First and goal for Burke of the English 8.
Burke looking to tack on their 3rd touchdown of the game. We'll see what they can do here on first down. They hand it off. And it's Guante again with some tough yardage inside the 5 down to the 3.
Running low, both hands on the ball. Good job by Guante. He's bounced back well from that fumble. That 3rd quarter fumble led to English's score.
Second and goal now from the 4-yard line for Burke Bulldogs. Guante again the lead fullback.
First man through.
Give it off to Guante. And he picks up maybe a yard or two down to about the 3, maybe the 2. I think he got just 1 yard, so it'll be 3rd and goal from the 3-yard line for Burke as the clock continues to wind down. Right about 6:30 left to go here in the 4th quarter.
Yeah, this ground game of both teams has been killing the clock. I mean, the 2nd quarter just dragged on so long because of all the penalties, but the 1st, 3rd, and now this 4th quarters have flown by because of the running game.
So 3rd and goal for for Jeremiah Burke. And now it's Goldbreath going to take it himself, and he shoots the gap for the touchdown. Pat Goldbreath with his 3rd touchdown run of the evening.
Yeah, quarterback draw. You fake the handoff, and then you just look for any kind of space. Really good athlete. I mean, really good athlete.
Not only does he have that speed, and he seems to have some pretty good toughness as well, but seems to know where to hit the hole, when to hit the hole.
Really good instincts.
Really good football instincts for Goldbreath.
That's a quarterback draw, which basically takes, obviously, timing. You know, you have to have a little bit of blocking, but the most important part of it, the quarterback decides when he's going to make that move, just like you said. And found a little bit of a gap. That's all he needs to get into the end zone.
Now for the 2-point conversion, they hand off to Guante. Plowing forward, what a tough run from Adriel Guante for the 2-point conversion.
Keep those legs churning. That's a perfect example of it.
Very tough run from him. So Jeremiah Burke, they tack on the 2-pointer. It's now 22-6. Bulldogs on top of the English Blue Eagles.
See the entire team congratulating Guante on that one. That was as tough a run. And as short as it was as tough as we've seen today. Everybody's happy about that.
And you see Coach Beeman congratulating some of the linemen.
I was just going to say,
the work that they did up front.
and Beeman went directly to a couple of the linemen.
So Burke now with a 2-touchdown lead. Here with 5:54 left to go in the 4th quarter. And right now, if you're Coach Conway, you're saying, all right, guys, let's try to get another one of those drives going. You know, they've been able to kind of chip away at drives for most of this game. See if they can now finish a drive with a touchdown.
Well, that's the key. I mean, in terms of trying to win the game, the problem is the time that's left. Sure. But we've seen some indication that Castro can throw the football. And like you said, they would love to get the ball to Robinson with his skills.
When you're talking about throwing the football to a receiver like that, with the tough time that this team has had completing a drive, right. Then you throw in the weather, throwing the ball. It's a tough situation for English to try to throw the football.
Especially, and the Burke is expecting everything. So they're going to concentrate on Castro, because the way that the new system for English is trying, the kids are just getting used to it, so they're really just trying to take their time and get it right. Wow.
Squib kick that goes through the feet of Exelholm. Not sure if he touched it yet.
He doesn't have to. He can down it. Oh,
but he's going to return it for Boston English. And the sophomore makes his way up to about the 18-yard line. We have a late flag on the play. We saw an English player down on the ground. So Not sure if that's going to be a penalty on Burke. It was on the far side of the field.
Totally away from the ball. But you see this a lot of times with teams that are struggling. I mean, this is, as we mentioned, between the two teams, there was no victory in the first 3 games. Let's see what this. There are a couple of Burke players over here pretty upset. Coaching staff trying to calm them down. Get a holding on English.
So it is just a holding call on Boston English. And now Jeremiah Burke calls a timeout with 5:40 left to go. Folks, if you want to check us out on social media, you can search for us on Facebook. Just search for Game of the Week here in Boston. A lot of good stuff up on our Facebook page. Make sure you like us on Facebook. You can also follow us on Twitter at Boston City TV. And if you want to tweet at us, use the hashtag BostonGOW. .540 left to go here in the fourth quarter.
Well,
and not only is English is clock, a factor for English right now. Now they have a long field to go. They have about 92 yards to go.
To the 8-yard line, right? I mean, tough break because Exeter Holmes actually had a pretty decent game, but he was a little over anxious trying to corral the ball, let it slip by him, and then either he wasn't sure if the ball hit him or if he just wasn't aware of the rule that he could down it. So he made his best effort to get the ball out. He actually tacked on a decent return, but the holding penalties was killing him down.
Without question. Well, if he did not touch the football and then recovered it in the end zone, that's a teaching moment there for Ryan Conway. You got a sophomore who you know is going to be one of your better players over the next couple of years. This is the time where you tell him.
You need to make him, have him make those decisions. Right. That probably goes for a lot of the kids. For some of these players, they're simply not used to organized football.
Both coaches talked about that on each of their teams. So they have a lot of guys who are playing varsity football, organized football for the first time this season. I don't think this is the first time this guy has played organized football, but he is wrapped up in the backfield. Denton has nowhere to go. And they're going to mark him down, I think, at the line of scrimmage. They're going to give him forward progress.
They have forward progress.
Now Denton's hurt.
It's like you said, he got sort of piled. There's a gang tackle. Yeah, he's a little shaken up.
He says he's all right.
Oh, looks like he's limping already.
Eagles now come out with 2 receivers to the bottom of your screen. Castro going to throw the football. They try to run a screen to Robinson, but he's got nowhere to go. He's bottled up for a 2-yard loss.
Yeah, Denton should come out of the game. Something's up with his left leg.
Wind now howling here at White Stadium.
England only has a handful of players on the sideline. I'm not sure if they even have many backups to come in.
Third down and 12 now for the English Blue Eagles. Coming up on 4 minutes left to go here in the fourth quarter. And it looks like Boston English wants a timeout here with right at the 4-minute mark.
Well, that'll help Denton anyway, try to recover from that gang tackle that he had on the first down. Like you said, Pat, that penalty was a killer. I mean, it's going to be long odds anyhow, but Exeter Home individual effort actually gave them a bit of a chance as you get the ball past the 20-yard line, but you start at your own 8. And the defense for Burke knows that you have a limited passing game anyway. The way this wind is blowing right now against English in their face, You definitely can't go downfield.
Really
Anything
hard.
has to be a screen pass, which they already tried one of those. Or something very simple, well, maybe over the middle. There's no way you're going to get a long pass in the air in these conditions.
I mean, in these conditions, it's one of those things. You just throw the ball up there and
they'll come back at you.
Say an our Father because you have no idea where it's going to go.
Yeah, like a frisbee or a boomerang.
Right. 3rd down and 12 now for Boston English from their own 7-yard line. Looks like we might have had some early movement, but they let it go.
Reverse.
Robinson on the reverse.
And
now we got a penalty.
Wow, this is
in the
wide
backfield.
open too.
Robinson might even take it all the way. He's gonna. That's gonna come back though. You can see why this guy is a guy that the coaches want to get the football in his hands. Robinson's going to be brought down at the 5, but that's going to come all the way back. I think the Burke players were telling him that there was a flag.
Yeah.
That's too bad. You can see his playmaking ability.
Oh, he made a nice move around the 15-yard line to free himself. He just realized the penalty is going to bring it back. But he did make an excellent move around the 15-yard line to get himself out to the sideline. Used his speed, the safety. Actually, the talk about speed. That's a little safety from the Burke actually ran him down because Cuthbert's not in the game. So the backup safety ran him down.
89-yard run for Robinson. Completely wiped out. There you see Castro talking to Ryan Conway. That was probably one of the plays they had for Robinson that they installed this week.
It was a reverse.
Try to get him in the open field. You also wonder if that hold even needed to happen.
Well, the way it opened up, I mean, he was actually running in the end zone. But once you get outside, like I said, around the 15-yard line, man, nice little move out to the sideline and just turned on the Jets.
So English now with the football at the 3-yard line as the penalty marked off half the distance to the goal line. So 3rd and 15 now for Boston English.
They're going to need a timeout. Yeah, watch out for a safety.
Handoff to Denton up the middle, and he picks up a couple of yards up to about the 5. And now if you're Boston English, 2.5 minutes left to go. Do you try for this 4th down conversion, or do you maybe say, okay, we're probably not going to have a chance at winning this game? Do we try to, have this situation where we have to punt the ball deep in our own end zone and try to get our guys familiar with this situation?
I think I would do that. That sounds like the play, but it looks like they're gonna try for it. No, they're going back in the punt formation.
Yeah, Exelholm looks like he's back to kick. High snap, Exelholm fields it. Gets the ball off cleanly. It's fielded right around the 25, make that the 27-yard line. Excuse me, that's about the 17-yard line.
17-yard line, yeah.
So just a short punt there from Exelholm. And that's where Jeremiah Burke will take over with about 1:32 left to go here in the 4th quarter.
Yeah, Culber's just going to finish it off. I mean, he literally just has to kneel down a few times. I doubt if English will bother using any timeout.
So Jeremiah Burke will earn their first win of the season. They improved to 1-1 on the year. Meanwhile, Boston English drops to 0-3. You got to think English can take some positives out of this game, though, with some of the drives that they were able to sustain. And, of course, they got their first touchdown of the season.
Hey, Guance's having a nice fourth quarter. He's
refusing to go down.
Right. No, you're right. Both, obviously, Burke, good game, the best player, made the plays, 3 touchdowns, and even with English, like you said, they actually had 2 really good drives. A third drive, the touchdown drive was as a result of the turnover. But you're right. That's something to build on, and I think that now English can try to maybe expand the playbook a bit. I really think that we might see more running from the quarterback, Castro, as the season goes along.
Yeah, he did have a nice run back in the first. It was the first half or maybe the third quarter.
Third quarter, yeah.
It was the third quarter on that drive that they got close to the end zone.
Yeah, one more kneel down will do it.
And there it is. So Jeremiah Burke.
22-6. And so a couple of things get accomplished mainly for Burke. They put up 22 points. They found ways to get their best, most explosive player, the quarterback, get him out in space, and he definitely knows what to do. 52 yards, first play of the game, 80 yards on a third and long. It's like,
almost had another long one if it wasn't for that inadvertent whistle.
That was bizarre. I mean, there was a fake handoff and there was a pile up, but the official thought that someone else had the football and blew the whistle. So otherwise, Culberth would have had that touchdown earlier.
That's right. So Culberth with 3 touchdowns on the evening as Jeremiah Burke defeats Boston English 22-6 for Burke's first win of the season. They now improve to 1-1 on the year. We're going to see them next week against Madison Park, but certainly a very impressive evening for their quarterback, Patrick Culberth. We're going to be excited to see him next week as well, folks. We're going to head to break. When we come back, we're going to have the final stat from this game in our MVP of the ball game right after these words. Don't go away.
When I was 6, my days were spent playing basketball. When I was 6, my dream was to make it to the NBA. When I was 6, my mom had a stroke.
I'm Paul George, and I want you to spot a stroke fast.
F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911.
Protect the ones you love.
Spot a stroke fast.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move. So I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
They said I have troll teeth.
That my voice sounded like a possessed baby doll.
That no one would ever love someone as stupid as me.
That I was fat, ugly.
Disgusting.
The effect of bullying is potent.
We will no longer be the silent majority.
Now, when you see online bullying, there's something you can do about it.
We're gonna take action with the I.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness, and so are you.
It's a beautiful day out here, sunny today with light breezes, giving way to clouds in the afternoon. We could see some light precipitation to moderate precipitation later on, followed by powerful storm-like conditions. 90 miles per hour winds are expected. Authorities are asking everyone, stay indoors. Come on, that's it, let's go.
Everybody has a dream. was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
Got a quarter?
Welcome back to White Stadium in Jamaica Plain. At the conclusion of Game of the Week, the Jeremiah Burke Bulldogs defeated the Boston English Blue Eagles 22-6 here this evening. Burke with their first win of the year, and certainly, who else you're going to give the MVP to? But we knew coming into this,
he was worth coming to see, right?
You know, when we came into this game, we knew what kind of season Pat Culberth had last year. We didn't see him at all on Game of the Week last year, but he had 18 touchdowns last season. 3 here tonight, and he played only about half the game.
He could have had 4.
Without question, because of the inadvertent whistle, because of the injury. So Pat Culberth, fantastic game for him. 3 touchdowns, almost 200 yards on the ground. He is with our sideline reporter, Seth Orensky. Seth, take it away.
Joined by Pat Culberth and Byron Beeman. Pat, you only had 6 touches in this game, but you made the most of them, 181 yards and 3 scores. You pulled your pulled a muscle in your thigh 20 seconds into the game, and yet you continue to make an impact. How much was your thigh hurting you, and how much did this game mean to you as a senior trying to get that first win of the year?
Honestly, it meant a lot, and I just felt like the way I started off the game, I couldn't let my team down, not playing. So it's got to finish strong.
We talked to Coach at halftime. He said that you might be done for the game just because it meant more going forward. When you saw English driving down, getting that first touchdown, getting within the score, what was your message to Coach and the rest of your team when you went back out there?
Honestly, I didn't tell him I was going back in. I just put my pads back on and walked on. Can't give up on your team, no matter what.
You've been working really hard as a player towards your future. We talked to Coach before the game. You've been going to some development camps regionally and nationally. What does it mean for you to show off not just your ability on the field, but you're a vocal leader on this team? You were even the punter, unable to get that punt off before halftime because you were in so much pain. Just trying to show that you're really all about the team rather than just yourself as an individual.
Honestly, I just wanted to show my coach, because my Coach Beeman, he does a lot for me. He opened a lot of doors that a lot of coaches haven't opened for me, so I thank him for that.
Pat, congratulations on a great game. Nice job fighting through the pain. Coach, win number 1 of the season. It wasn't easy. Obviously, English came out with renewed vigor in that second half. How proud of your team's offense today? It wasn't just Pat. You guys were able to run the ball a lot more effectively in the second half with a lot of different guys. What does this mean for Jeremiah Burke to get that first victory, to do it in a difficult game where it wasn't easy?
It means everything. It means a lot.
especially coming off a painful loss last week, shorthanded, not really having all of our guys, and to get into a conference play and be able to come out with a victory rolling into the season is really, really what we need to do to get this team going.
Pat had some really nice words to say about you. What can you say about Pat, not just as a player who obviously has a lot of tremendous upside, but as a leader and as an individual?
You know, Pat's come a long way. You know what I mean? He has a story just like a lot of our players have a story. But when you listen to his story and his perseverance and his will to continue to go on, to fight through some adversity, both on and off the field, and continue to want to show up and give his all 100%. I mean, you can't help but root for a kid like Pat. And that's why I do everything that I possibly can do for him, because I want to see him make it out of here doing something with himself later on in life.
You guys are 1-1 at this point. What do you have to do next week and going forward to continue being a competitive football team?
Well, we got to work on our passing game, incorporate some passes. We got to find some people that want to go down the field and catch the ball for us. We still have some work to do on the offensive line. We still need to match some people up, you know, some guard tackle. We know we'll do some experimenting this week, and hopefully we come out, we can retool some things and just be a little bit more efficient on offense next week, and continue to play good, solid defense.
Congratulations on the win. Good luck going forward. Guys, it's all yours.
Thanks very much, Seth. Seth looking dapper despite the weather out there. Nice job there, buddy. You know, Coach Beeman certainly got to be happy with this win, and certainly we know how he feels about Culbreth. But as he mentioned, too, they still have some work to do, as he mentioned, especially along the offensive line. He talked about how last week they had some guys who were thinking about playing a receiver or a tight end who had to play offensive line because they weren't necessarily ready to go last week with all their guys. So now that they have some guys sort of established at positions, you got to think there's going to be steady improvement throughout the season.
Yeah, this is the kind of game that lets the coach know he has a base to work with. And his last comment, I think, was important too. Culbert's, you know, his running, his touchdowns and all that was great, but the fact of the matter is that they defended pretty well. Right. I mean, the one touchdown they gave up was after that, the fumble they lost, and that gave English a really short field to go. But defensively, they did okay, and that was with Culbreth not playing defense. He didn't play the entire second half with defense.
Probably your best defensive player.
Right. So I think that Burke has a lot to look forward to, and like you said, we'll see him again against Madison Park team, who's always physical. And that's going to be important because the coach was talking about guys who aren't sure, you know, how they want to play. Well, you go see Madison Park, especially down there. That's right. You're going to have to hit. Or you're going to just continually get hit. So that's going to be a good test next week.
Without question, that's going to be a fun one. Let's take a look at the final stats from this ball game here tonight before we sign off from White Stadium. And first up, it's going to be the English Blue Eagles.
Well, the English, they got some yardage going. Denton, that's the kid who came from Ohio. And like you said, I mean, tough, 84 yards on 13 carries. Did have the only touchdown of the game for English. Soto ended up with 19 yards on 8 carries. It's tough slaying inside the tackles for English all night. Receiving, there was that one catch, sorry, two catches for a net of 1 yard. And unfortunately, that really long screen pass was called back. And Castro only threw the ball 3 times, then completed 2 of them for very short yardage.
Well, let's take a look at Jeremiah Burke's final stats.
You know, Culbreth all over the place. 181 yards and 6 carries, because he did have an 81-yarder so in one. 3 touchdowns, so clearly dominated the game offensively. Guante, tough game, 50 yards, 13 carries, and then nothing at all passing or receiving. They didn't need it. They didn't want to throw the ball. They didn't have to throw the ball, and it was all on the ground.
So there you see Jeremiah Burke getting it done on the ground. As we mentioned, next week we will be at Madison Park. Burke will be visiting the Madison Park Cardinals. We don't know what Madison did tonight, but last week they had a big win over their neighbors over at the complex over on Malcolm X Boulevard as they defeated O'Brien 12-8 next week. So certainly should be a fun one, and as you mentioned, probably a very physical game.
Madison Park, that's even the years that they don't have really good skill players, they always have tough players, large, small, skinny, heavy, whatever. It's always a hitting game.
Without question. Sounds like we're going to have a rock fight next week over at Madison Park. But right now we're going to say so long here from White Stadium. It's been a long day for our crew because of the wind and the rain, so I want to thank our guys for all the effort they put put in here this evening. We're going to say so long here from White Stadium. We'll see you next time on Game of the Week, folks. You want to watch this game again, you can go to our website, www.cityofboston.gov/Game of the Week. All the games from this season are up there. You can follow us on Facebook, search for Game of the Week here in Boston, and like us on Facebook. You can also follow us on Twitter at Boston City TV. If you want to tweet at us, use the hashtag BostonGOW. Take care, everybody. Have a good one.